Welcome and join me here at Leno State Park. This park is unique for its location, its geology, and for being one of Florida's first state parks. Only 25 miles from Gainesville and just 5 miles from the I-75, it's convenient for both locals and travelers to visit, hike, and camp. I'll be camping here. There are 2 camping loops, the Magnolia and the Dogwood, so let's go explore. Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. I'm out at Leno State Park, and I'll be doing some camping, cooking, and hiking. So I hope you'll come along and join me. All right, so I've got my camp all set up. Gonna get ready to cook dinner. I'm gonna make just a short stir fry. Okay, so I'm going to start with a little small salad. It's just a mix, and then I added some carrots. Alright, so temperatures last night got down to 31 degrees. It's pretty cold. We're having a little cold snap right now, and the highs for today got up to be 69. So I'm going to head on over to the other side of the park, which is about a mile from where the camping loop is, over towards the Santa Fe River. They've got some old structures that were built by the CCC in the 1930s, some historical information, so go check that out. And then I want to go for a little hike along the river trail. This is the Santa Fe River in the Leno State Park. I have several trails. So I'm crossing over the bridge, and there's a suspension bridge over the Santa Fe River. I'm going to cross over and get a nice view. Let's see what this plaque says up here. Town of Leno. Originally called Keno for a variation of lotto gambling, the town was settled in the 1860s. Ecclesiastical and commercial pressure changed the name to Leno in 1876. A grist and sawmill, cotton gin, stores, and hotels sprang up in the settlement. Railroad construction bypassed the town, and by the 1890s, Leno became a ghost town. The site of Old Leno, was purchased by the state as a park and forestry station in 1934. The town of Leno grist mill. It shows you some of the tools that they use, and it's got an interpretive plaque up. Let's go see what it says. So the town was developed because of agricultural business in the 1800s. A lot of farming here, very small communities. Grist mills, sawmills, boat landings, and railroad stops were the center of these communities. So the town no longer exists. The closest town is High Springs. So you can go inside this old historical center. It was built by the CCCs. So this is still open. It's a historical center documenting all the work that went on in the park to help create the state park. Pictures of FDR Florida chapter 143. It's got historical data, an old uniform, original photos of the Leno State Park when they were building it. Some of the artifacts that they found here, Indian arrowheads and pottery shards. The park originally served as a Forest Service training camp, and then it opened to the public as a Florida State Park in 1940. This is a statue of a CCC boy, a young man who worked during Roosevelt's CCC to help create this state park. It was dedicated in 2007. There are several hiking trails to go on, and the map shows the length of some of them. I'm going to go on the river trail, so I'm going to cross over the river on this bridge and turn left. The suspension bridge was part of the original infrastructure built by the CCCs in the 1930s. Here's a view from the bridge of both upriver and downriver. The trail follows along the river, and it comes to a point where it begins to turn right and turns away from the river. And so it leads into an open savanna area with a lot of scrubby flatwoods and a sandhill, and then into a floodplain swamp and forest. There are several sinkholes along the trail and creeks with a lot of shaded trees. So here on the left, you can see the Santa Fe River. Part of the trail meanders through a hardwood hammock of live oaks, laurel oaks, and lots of saw palmettos underneath the canopy. Several sections of the trail are windy, and they pass through pine woods and flatwoods. And then there's a cypress tree swampy area that you go through as well. This little short bridge passes over a sink area, but it didn't have any water in it that day. There is another trail here in the state park called the Sink to Rise Trail, and it's got a backcountry campsite for backpackers. I always hope to see birds when I'm out hiking, like herons and egrets, but I didn't see any birds along the trail this time around. I could hear them up in the trees, but I didn't see any. Looking down at Ogden Lake, a long narrow lake. They're very common in this park, and each lake has a slight current, and their levels tend to increase and decrease along with the river. The lakes are actually a part of the underground portion of the river into which the surface layers of earth have collapsed. It's all filled with algae. These are flowering azaleas, which are common here. This trail is a really relaxing and peaceful hike through the hardwood hammock. I did see several people out walking, people with their dogs and families, so I wasn't out there all by myself. So this area, there were actually two ways to go along the trail. I chose to turn right, and that led me down to another little sink area where I saw some turtles basking in the sun. So after the sink, this is where I had to turn back and retrace some of my steps to get back to the trail. Coming back to the beginning of the river trail at Leno State Park. Finished up my hike and it ends back at the parking lot. So I'm gonna head back to my camp and make a little cheese board and a little glass of wine and relax after my beautiful hike. Okay, friends, the sun's gonna go down in about a half an hour, so I'm gonna call it a night. Today was a great day. Went for a beautiful hike along the river trail, so I'll see you in the morning. Bye all. I'm gonna make myself a cup of tea, get started for the day. So I've got my campsite all packed up, getting ready to head on to the next beautiful campground. I'm on an extended road trip right now. So thank you everyone so much for watching, and until the next adventure, bye everyone. Leno State Park's convenient location, its history, and its special geology, it's truly worth the visit. Thank you.